Hi Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your January 2022 New Moon reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's see what the tarot has to say. How will Sagittarius be affected by the January 2022 new moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. 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 I'm just going to take a sip of water in just one moment. All right, so at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the moon, which is Pisces energy, but it's the energy of the moon really coming through quite strongly at our root. And it is the star, Aquarius energy. So what we have here is the moon and the stars really guiding us during this time. The energy of the new moon doesn't just happen only on the day of the new moon. It is the way that it leads us forward. It prepares us for a 28-day cycle, and it guides us in a very powerful way. It lasts up to 14 to 28 days. So what we're going to see here is we're going to see that this moon is really quite intense, and we're guided by the night sky in a way that we're just not used to. Then we have the world and the 10 of coins. The world opens up to us and prosperity. This is bounty. This is a generational blessing coming in. This is success and abundance. It leads us to our emotional self, which is the Page of Wands. That's us as a student. We're a student of our heart, and we're also being told to celebrate the good moments. We can really get mad and angry at all the injustices, all the negativity, all the hurt, and all the pain that we experience within our life. But there is a need to celebrate the good moments that we have, to celebrate the beauty that we have. Then we have the Four of Swords, which is rest. And we have the Queen of Cups, which is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So if we have water sign energy within our natal chart, that comes through very powerfully here in the public arena, just as if we have Pisces energy or Aquarius energy in our natal chart, that comes through very powerfully at our root, as the root form of our personality. Then we have our energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. This is the Lord. And this is Aries energy. We don't like to be told what to do. And there's a fire to Aries. We have a low, steady burn, okay? Sagittarius, that's how our energy works in fire sign energy. Energy with an Aries is more like intense and bright, and then intense and bright. You know, it's kind of more flashy like that. And Leo kind of follows that same thing, except it's a little bit more like forceful and bright. So what I'm seeing here is that we don't want to be told what to do, and we don't want somebody's fire usurping ours. We want that slow, steady burn. We don't want the intense blaze that absolutely consumes, yet we're going to be very attracted to people who have this intensity to them, who have this blaze to them. So just be mindful, be very aware of this. And now let's look at our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. And this is inspiration. This is the sacral chakra. And we're finding that at the root of our personality, at the root of ourselves, we're being inspired. We're also breaking free of a lot of the hurts and the pains and the disappointment that have defined us, not only in this life, but in past lives. And we're looking at our creativity, we're looking at our sensuality, and we're really starting to see the passion and the power that is us leading us forward. And it's like we're entering into a new dawn. We're ushering in a new dawn, and that's going to be really quite beautiful. And I do apologize if you can hear my dog in the background. Just ignore her. So let's talk about things astrologically speaking. So here at the core of everything is the new moon in Capricorn. So our hard work is paying off, and that's going to be really quite prosperous, because as the story of the new moon comes forward, it always begins the same way, with the sun conjunct the moon. And this brings an end of one cycle and the beginning of another. It brings a burst of energy, insight, and intuition forward. And we will find that this new moon is a time of emotional balance, of emotional understanding. The new moon is trine Uranus, so this brings us a greater understanding of ourselves. It also has us starting to really embrace this wonderful alignment. It makes us more open-minded, more adventurous, more willing to try new things and go after what it is that we desire. We will find that we are self-aware, but not self-conscious, which is a really good thing, because usually sometimes when we're self-aware, we're just very self-conscious, and we're so aware of ourselves. We're aware of our thoughts. We're aware of our intentions. We're aware of everything, and we think that everybody is judging us, and yet that won't be the case here. This means that we will also express ourselves more freely, feel more open and honest with our uniqueness, with our creativity, with our quirkiness, with what we desire, our dreams, and our passion forward. We will also be happy to see that this time is a time of unexpected positive change that can really lead towards our freedom. We're going to be making shifts. We're going to be changing things that lead us towards freedom, that leads us towards expression of self and really embracing what we desire. This makes us more comfortable to step out of our comfort zone and into the world that we really want to live in. We will also find that negative reactions from other people, it doesn't affect us the way that it once would. It once would have devastated us. And yet now we're like, no, you know what? I'm still moving forward. You know what? I'm not letting this bring me down. We might have had arguments on the new moon. We might have had doubts and fears leading up to this new moon. And yet there's a clarity that comes forward as we, embrace the day after the new moon, as we embrace who we are and what we desire and the way that we're moving forward. We will also find that we pick up things very quickly. This is a time where we're seeing things in a new light, in a new way. Learning new things is going to be quite easy for us. The new moon is also going to be in conjunction with Lilith, which is known as the black moon. And this brings a darker energy, kind of like storm clouds, kind of come rolling in. And this has us, really looking at things in a kind of scared sort of way. It brings things a little bit more pessimism forward, right? A little bit more negativity forward. But it also, Lilith represents what we want to ignore within our lives, what we don't want to look at, because if we don't look at it, it's not real. And yet, if we run away from something, it never solves the problem. It just brings that problem back to us and makes us see it. So we have to be aware of this. So just being aware of that with Lilith, we're going to want to run away, and yet Spirit is saying, you know what, face it. And this really comes forward with Saturn in Aquarius, because Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, right? And Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So we have the energy of Saturn coming through quite strongly, and we have the energy of Uranus coming through quite strongly. And what it is here is that we have to balance and we have to find the harmony of freedom and responsibility, right? Uranus rules freedom, Saturn rules responsibility. And so this is going to be a time for us where we want to be free, we want to be carefree, we want to, move forward and explore and become. And Saturn's saying, what about the responsibilities? What about everything that you need to put on your shoulders? And there's going to be a need here to look at things and to find that balance, of freedom of expression, freedom of dreams, freedom of desire, of self, and that passion that leads us forward. And then to have the balance of Saturn come in and say, okay, what are your responsibilities? You can't just leave them on the side of the road, right? What is it that you have built within your life that needs to be carried forward? And let us see, let us grow, let us become together. And then we have the new moon conjunct the fixed star Nunki. Now, Nunki is a lovely star. It brings thoughtfulness, it brings optimism, and it brings spiritual connection, whether that be through spirituality or religion or just through seeking out deeper knowledge. It really doesn't matter. And in accordance to the ancient Egyptian mathematician and astronomer Ptolemy, there we go, Nunki is naturally aligned with Jupiter and with Mercury, making it so that Nunki has not only is hardworking and has us, connecting with luck and hard work and the power of Jupiter, which is the power of Zeus, right? The king of all the gods. We then have the energy of Mercury, the energy of communication. So we have this power, we have this intensity and the ability to communicate with it and the ability to grow from it. We're going to find that this moon, as we see with the moon card right here, is astoundingly powerful. It has us looking at the hierarchy of ourselves. So if lobsters are left to grow, not, enhanced in any way by us, they grow in the hierarchy of their power. So if they have a higher serotonin level, they become bigger. And what we have here is we have a pretty big lobster. That's a pretty good sized lobster. And what we're going to see here is that as we face the shadows, as we face our fears and our doubts and the monsters that we, can conceive that lay around us, we're going to grow in our serotonin. We're going to grow in our confidence, in our, maturity of self, in our determination, in our focus. And that's going to be the game changer. And that leads us to what we really wish for. And this new moon really brings forward not only our fears, but what we deeply long for, what we deeply desire. And it says, how are we going to balance these two? How are we going to move forward towards what we want, towards what we need within our lives? And there's this shift that comes within us that says, I need to balance me. I need to see me. I need to honor what I wish for, not what I cross my fingers and say, oh, wouldn't it be lovely if I could obtain this? But what my soul really wants me to move forward in that knowledge, in that wisdom. And there's something here where we're afraid. We're afraid of opening that door. We're afraid of even acknowledging it at some parts within our psyche. And in our inner self, the world is starting to open to us. And we're also starting to see our world. It's like, what do I want? Where do I need to move forward in? Where do I want to be? What do I need for myself? What do I desire for myself? And that leads us to the 10 of coins. Who doesn't desire prosperity, a completion of a cycle when it comes to money, a completion of a lesson when it comes to finances? What we're going to see here is that our world is opening to us and we're starting to see wealth come forward. Now, it might not be riches and our coffers might not be, overflowing with wealth and prosperity, but what it is a sense of a job well done, a sense of focus, a sense of worth, a sense of prosperity, a sense of abundance. And it moves us to really being a student of our heart, because we're starting to see where we want to move forward in our world. It's not where we should move forward. It's not what everybody else is demanding of us. It's where do I want to move forward for me? What do I desire for me? Where am I comfortable standing for me? And what brings me wealth, prosperity, security, abundance? And it moves us to the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is the student of our passion. We are the student of our passion, Sagittarius. We are looking at what we want and what we're discovering, at where it is that we want to be. We're also getting messages from Spirit if we connect. And they're going to come more emotional messages. They're going to resonate with our heart. It's going to be like we see a rose and our grandmother's name was Rose, type of thing. We hear a song, and that was a song that used to play on the radio when we were in the cars when we were 16 or whatever. You're going to see these synchronicities come forward, these brilliances come forward that tell us that we're not alone, that tell us that we're moving in the right direction. It brings us to the 9 of Pentacles. They will also tell us, Sagittarius, when we're moving in the wrong direction. There will also be, keys that come up and say, okay, listen. And we might take it as like, oh, wow, Spirit's saying I'm doing really well. And Spirit's like, no. I'm telling you to slow down. I'm telling you to look at this. I'm telling you to remember where you were when you first heard that song or when you first read that book, or saw that movie type of thing. And it moves us then to the 9 of Pentacles. This is prosperity and success and abundance. This is knowing that the harvest is going to come in. But if we remember, medieval farming technique, and up to relatively recently, your crop could go bad. That's why machinery was so revolutionary when it came to farming, because you could bring in your crop so quickly. Yet if you were barreling the hay by hand, right? If you were rolling the hay by hand, what you would have to do is you'd have to get a whole bunch of people together. And then you would have to also hope that it didn't rain or there wasn't an early frost or anything like that. And so what we have here is we have prosperity and joy, but yet knowing that there's going to be a lot of hard work to come. And we don't kind of want to count our chickens before they're hatched, but it's saying job well done. It's also saying be mindful of your purse, because again, we don't want to count our chickens before we're hatched. And there's also the sense of don't look too far into the future. Celebrate the now. Because if we look too far into the future, all of a sudden we're worried, we're anxious, we're overwhelmed. The Four of Swords says here, rest, recovery, quiet. Rest, recovery, quiet. That's the mantra of the Four of Swords in this deck. This is the Wandering Star Tarot. And what it is also is this honoring of our story, this honoring of who we are and what has made us us. We would love to have just this easy, beautiful road, this kind of beauty, sereneness that always comes forward. But our road hasn't been that. There's been intensity, there's been heartbreaks, there's been pains, there's been disappointments. And the Four of Swords is saying honor your path as you rest, as you recover, as you honor yourself. It brings us to the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is intuition, compassion, creativity. Intuition, compassion, creativity, the mantra of the Queen of Cups. Where will our intuition lead us? Where does our creativity guide us? What are we compassionate about, but what also are we passionate about? And how do we grow it? How do we have that compassion for ourselves, for the world around us? How do we open up these doors and get to see, get to discover, get to become? The Queen of Cups is second only to the Empress in her feminine, in the divine feminine aspect of her. And this is going to be a time where we're embracing that. We're embracing that femininity. We're embracing that nurturing. We're embracing that caring, but we're also embracing that intensity and that fire and that, tidal wave aspect of the Queen of Cups. And we're going to find here that there is so much more to caring and nurturing than we ever thought. It's kind of like having a small child, a 2-year-old, let's say. And you all know, well, if you don't, I will tell you, the 2-year-olds can have tantrums like nobody you've ever seen. And 2 years old is actually the most violent age for human beings. It's where we think that we can solve everything by just throwing a fit and biting and kicking and, just being absolutely awful. And that's all our go-to, kind of reaction to things at the age of 2. And this is where discipline comes in, right? And so we have the Eternal Mother here. We have that divine feminine energy here. And it's not only having to love the child, right? But it's also having to discipline the child, to let them know that biting is wrong, kicking is wrong, throwing things is wrong. And there's beauty to that. And there's an importance to that we cannot ignore. And so within ourselves, when we're nurturing and when we're giving and when we're embracing, we're also disciplining and focusing and molding and sculpting. It moves us to our lunar message. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So at our root, our lunar message is have faith in your dreams, self-love. Don't forget to believe and be your own cheerleader, Sagittarius. Have faith in your dreams. Embrace your self-love. Embrace self-love. Take care of yourself. You'll find that it actually raises your energy vibration to love you, to care for you, to connect with you, and to have faith in what you have dreamt. Even if it seems so silly right now, we're going to look back at it and be like, you know what? It's going to move me forward. It's moving me forward in a way I never expected. My dreams are coming to fruition in a way that I might not have imagined. The answers you need are coming, are our inner self. Lunar message, wisdom. They're going to bring with them wisdom. They may come in a way that we don't initially understand. And then as we're putting things together, it's like, oh, I see. Oh, okay. Our lunar emotional self says it's time to give rather than take, blossoming. It's time to give of the beauty of blossoming into ourselves instead of saying, no, I need to take more. I need to understand more before I let myself shine. It brings us to our lunar public arena self. And it says, step out of your comfort zone, the path. The path leads us out of our comfort zone. Are we willing to go after it? Are we willing to embrace it? There is such beauty here. There is such intensity here. The North Lunar Node, it's said in astrology that between the North Lunar Node and the South Lunar Node is echoed our destiny. Do we step out of our comfort zone and seize it? Do we step out of our comfort zone and embrace ourselves finally? Our subconscious lunar message is the new moon. So this new moon is astoundingly powerful for us, and it brings us to truth. It brings us to truth about ourselves. It brings us to the truth of what we want. It leads us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of its justice. It's holding to the letter of things instead of the spirit of things. It's saying, no, it has to be just like this. It's a rigidity that we're going to be fighting against. It leads us to a subconscious chakra message, which is communication. We need to communicate what we want. We need to communicate it with ourselves. We need to communicate it with spirit. This is our throat chakra. That's actually what the singing bowl is tuned to, our throat chakra. And as we communicate what we desire within the world, we are communicating who we are. Name it and we claim it. There's a power in names. We tend to forget that. We absolutely forget that in our modern world. There's a power to names. There's a power to knowing. Our subconscious rooted message is the Hermit. We're turning inward, and the light is guiding us. The light of our dreams, the light of the star of the Aquarius energy, or of the star card, is guiding us forward. Where do we wish to be? What do we desire? What do we long for? It brings us to our subconscious inner self, and that is the High Priestess. The High Priestess in early tarot decks was also known as the female pope. This is wisdom that's coming in, and it's wisdom that will be hidden and denied. This is the veil being lifted from our eyes as we start to see the people around us more clearly, as we start to see ourselves more clearly. Will we deny it? Will we bury it? Or will we embrace it? There's a question there. And there's, so much that we can embrace, and there's so much that we can deny. It leads us to our subconscious emotional self, and that's the universe. The world opens to us. We are that ephemeral being right here of snow and of air, saying, do I fly to new heights? Do I get to embrace more? Do I get to see more? Do I get to be more than I ever expected? And the answer is yes. Our subconscious public arena self is the Five of Pentacles. In the Five of Pentacles, it says struggle, harshness, loss. Struggle, harshness, loss. It is the mantra of the Five of Pentacles. It's poverty. It is our poverty mentality that is going to try and rob away all the blessings. It's getting to a point and then seeing ourselves decline, seeing ourselves slip, because a part of us doesn't believe that we can have that success. A part of us self-sabotages, lets Lilith come forward, lets us be denied. And there's a sense of why? Why are we sabotaging ourselves? Why are we denying ourselves? Why aren't we believing in ourselves as much as the universe believes in us, as much as those who love us believe in us? All right, Sagittarius, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this new moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Sagittarius, and may you have a blessed moon.